Absolutely, absolutely. I want to change gears just a little bit and talk about we know you did the culture vultures,
Yeah.
with Name Dash, and we talked to you, I think,
Mhm.
before a while ago.
Right.
You
Right.
mentioned kind of the culture vultures too, whether you want to going to continue that series or is that done? I'm not quite sure. Let the
Mm.
people know if you're going to continue or are you just done with that whole movement at this point? Because it was so powerful at the time, man.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
I'm I've talked. We Dame and I have talked via text. We still haven't sat down and talked. I know it's been over a year now, but I haven't been concentrating on that. I've been concentrating on my new project that'll be out pretty soon. I'm actually about to send it over to the copy editors probably another week or two, and that's about it, man. Just and then getting ready to film the project as well. So I just been more concentrated on Kenyatta and hip hop motivation because it's kind of hard when you do a project with someone and you're standing behind that project and that person may not be standing behind that project with you, and so I just don't feel like, I can't give my loyalty away unless loyalty is given, and that's just me, and shout out to Dame, you know what I'm saying? Dame, is a good dude. Uh, I never had any real problems with Dame. And, that situation, it kind of hurt me to the point where I just was like, I didn't really like the way it went. But at this point where I'm at, it's all respect because, again, we all decide and we all make choices on what it is we want to do, if we want to become. And he just made a decision to do whatever he wanted to do with the situation. And I didn't agree with it, but there's not much I can say about it other than, I did the book and it's still available. And, I did it from the heart, and I'm sure Dame did it from the heart at the time. But sometimes, it gets a little tricky. The heart and mind gets a little tricky. Your mind will tell you to do one thing, but that actually go against what your heart is telling you to do. And the heart is the most powerful frequency. And so I just make sure that I stick with my heart, because the mind can get tricky, you know, definitely.
Yeah,
It
man,
can make you, and it can make you look foolish in the end sometimes, and that's all.
such a
But
powerful movement in the book, man. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
yeah, nah, but as far as, with hip hop motivation, it's a lot of things. It kind of like it was one of those things too. I just took a hiatus from it because I wanted to realign myself with my message and what I want to present to the people. And that's where I'm at now, man. I'm about to really start hitting heavy and just do my thing more than anything else, and actually do some local things right here in LA and try to move around with it. But it's just one of those things. Like I felt like we should have moved around with that book. We should have been traveling with that book. Like when you have a book, the number one thing that you want to do is travel with the book. Like if you have an album, you want to move around with it. And there were all these opportunities coming to me to move around with it. And then when that happened, it kind of got a little tricky because he didn't want to go. And it's like, well, the book is about you. I wrote the book about you, your name and dash. And,
Mhm.
whatever reason, he just wasn't really moving like that. Or he didn't believe in the message in some of the things possibly that he said at the time.
Mm.
I don't know, man. We still got to sit down and talk. I haven't sat down and talked to him. We text. I texted him when he was in New York going to court. Told him to hold his head up, what I'm saying, and stay focused. And he was like, "Thank you, brother." And he's done the same. He's texted me to check on me just like a couple days ago, as a matter of fact. This coronavirus thing going on, and just asking was everything all right? And about Dr. Africa, asking did Dr. Africa pass, and I told him yeah, and he told me to stay safe, and that was it. So there's some dialogue going on. We gonna build, man, but right now I'm just focused on me.
Dope, man. That's as real as you could put it, man. Salute to that. Step culture vultures movement was such a powerful movement. I know that's how we got introduced to you through hip hop motivation, and I'm glad that we did, man, because you're a stand up dude. And we appreciate you. I want to
Oh,
go back. No doubt. I want to go back to the documentary because I watched the documentary and I looked at some of the comments, which I usually don't do, but I wanted to get a vibe of what people were thinking. And a lot of people, I was surprised, thought it was some bullshit. They were a little aggravated with the
yeah.
whole direction behind it. Talk about your feelings behind the documentary. A lot of people's credibility were questioned too. I didn't see anything about you, but some of the characters and some of the pieces in play were questioned. Talk about the documentary, how you felt about it, how it was filming it, and what your thoughts are about it once you've seen the final cut.
Well, when they got at me to do the interview, I was all game for it. It was through BBC. The guy told me they didn't. They came at me, told me they didn't have no major budget. I know different. You're not gonna get flown from Europe and London and not have no budget.
Mm.
And you know what I'm saying? But I was just like, all right, cool. I wasn't busy, so I decided to do it. The documentary itself, it looked good. It was cool. I didn't like the fact that they tried to throw Big U under the bus, whether or not, that people felt like he had some type of involvement. I didn't like that. I felt like that was irresponsible because at the end of the day, you're innocent until proven guilty. And that's usually done where? In a court of law. But then when people get the slandering and making up conspiracy theories on people and trying to put people out there that possibly didn't have nothing to do with it on that level, because, as we know in the hood, just because, you might get shot by my cousin, and because he's my cousin don't mean I had something to do with it.
Right.
And so I felt like that was irresponsible. I never looked at you as being a suspect because I have a different relationship with Big U, because Big U to me, first of all, he's a guy that loves children. Okay. We're not even talking about him and Nipsey. Nipsey's daughter, from what I understand, is related to Big U in some form of fashion, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
But I just couldn't see him, not even for his daughter, I couldn't see him doing that to his children. Like, I don't know. I just have a different idea of Big U. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm right. But all I know is that was irresponsible for them to do that, because I didn't see the final cut, of course. They just sent me the link. I watched it and I was like, oh shit. Like, they went kind of like at him as if he was a guy that really had something to do with it. And I don't know. I can't speak on that, but I felt like unless you have proof, unless you have documented proof, that's irresponsible to put a black man or anyone out there as a person of interest in a crime that he probably didn't commit. He wasn't involved in that. I don't know. Yes, he's from the 60s, but that doesn't mean he has something to do with that. Him and Nipsey were once business partners and not anymore. Because they're not business partners anymore, does that mean that he had Nipsey killed? It's kind of like, it's a little weird to go about it like that. It's like something happened to me or Dame. It's like, damn, because something happened to Dame, does that mean that I had something to do with it? Because we did the book and things went a little south? No, you have to be real. You have to be realistic about things when you actually accuse someone of something. I didn't like that too much. I didn't like that part. Now, everything else was cool. It was cool. It was cool. He interviewed some people that, I don't know any of those people. And I'm sure a lot of them probably don't know me, but it was cool, but I didn't like that part.
Right.
I didn't like that part. I thought that was like irresponsible because, here again, Big U is a power player in the hood. He knows a lot of people. From what I understand, my dealings with Big U, he's a good guy. I never had any problems with him. I've never seen him as a person that was trying to victimize anyone. He's far removed from that type of life, if he ever really lived that type of life. And so I felt like BBC, well, Benjamin and the young lady that did, I felt like that was a little irresponsible. But shout out to them. They did the best they could. And we all make mistakes, but I feel like that was a mistake to do anyone like that without any proof.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree. It's a whole bunch of
Conspiracy.
It's like one every day around that time, and people were just doing it. A lot of people just doing it for views and things like that, and to get their subscriptions up. And as you see, it all died down. Nobody's talking about that no more. But I want to speak about the trial coming up with Eric Holder. First, are you planning on going at all, or are you just going to watch from home?
I'm gonna actually watch. I probably won't go to the trial, but I'll definitely watch and check out everything as it's going on. A friend of mine yesterday told me that there's a possibility they might have thrown out footage because it's not really visible. The people in the footage is not visible if that's Eric Holder, and so that could be a turning point in the case. We'll see. There's a lot of witnesses that were there that saw the guy or the person of interest or the guy that they have in custody. I don't know, but I know that it's gonna work out one way or another, man. But at the end of the day, this guy Nipsey, he left a lot. I was just looking at some of his footage this morning, and I put up a post on my Instagram, and this guy was so next level in his thinking, man. He was just a beautiful person.
Mm-hmm.
All the experiences and all the different times I build with him, would build with him. It was never no bullshit, man. It was always like some next level thinking, man. He was an interesting guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was a thinker. And so that's the most unfortunate thing, is that this guy, you know, was snatched away from his family who needed him the most. Fuck the fans. I'm talking about his family. We talking about his little son you saw on stage, and his stepson, and
Word.
his family members, you know, that miss him so much, man, you know. But a lot of times, you know, fans and other people, they get a little selfish with the approach to it. But just look at the family, man. Just, you know, sit still and send some energy to the family members that lost their son, lost their father. You know, still send some energy. It's only been a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So those wounds are still healing, man. That wound does not have a scab on it. Put it that way. That's some heavy wounds, brother. You know what I'm saying? To lose somebody so important to you.
Absolutely. Do you feel like some rappers out there, you know, have tried to exploit Nipsey Hussle's name? I mean, we're not gonna mention no names, but we've seen a lot of people who have just, you know, attached themselves to Nipsey without necessarily the family giving, you know, their blessing to the people. Do you see that out there? People talking about that? Like, he ain't really down with Nipsey. She ain't really down with Nipsey. They just doing a so-called clout or whatever they call it. Do you
Yeah.
like that? Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a few people talk about that, you know, but you know, it's hard to really say who is who in that situation, because he reached out to so many people that they don't even know about, you know, because he was one of those kind of guys, man. If he liked you and he fucked with you, he would reach out to you. He would build with you, and he might jump on a song with you. So, you know, a lot of people, you know, that some of these people are fans. Some of these people are really friends. Some of these people were just associates in the studio, and you know, more power to them. But it's hard to say, man, and it's like that turns into a conspiracy theory of who's who, you know. But this is a guy that circled around all over the United States and certain parts of the world, and gave his energy to people. And that's a beautiful thing, because everybody that came in contact with him, if you ever pay attention, they don't really say anything gross about the dude. The dude was like a solid guy. He was a stand-up dude, man. Every time I dealt with him, from the time he was 16 years old, coming in the barbershop, him and Cobby, you know, it was like he was a stand-up guy. You know, he was a stand-up guy. Definitely. Even from the time he told me his name was gonna be Nipsey Hussle in the barbershop.
Right.
I go by Nipsey Hussle. And we laughed at him, but he didn't laugh. He had a grin on his face, and he stayed focused on what he wanted to do. You know, and that's when I knew. I was like, because me knowing about personal magnetism and confidence, I knew right off the bat. Soon as I didn't see him get flustered or shaken up because we was laughing at the name, I knew then. I said, okay, this guy is ready. He's on his path. He's on his purpose. And that's what you saw towards the end of his life, is that he stayed on his purpose, and he actually accomplished that goal that he set out to accomplish.